time, just so everyone's aware. Previously on these meetings, we had called in via the phone. I found the sound to be excellent for that purpose. And so now I'm doing audio through my computer because that's the only option for how this meeting is set up. But that does mean that the communication is, from a sound standpoint, is not as good this time. So if you all will just bear with me, Council Lady Allen, are you present? Present. Thank you. Council Lady Benedict, are you present?
Present.
Councilman Bradford. Councilman Bradford, are you present?
Present.
Council Lady Evans.
Present.
Council Lady Gamble.
Present.
Councilman Hall.
Present.
Council Lady Hurt.
Present.
Councilman Nash.
Present.
Councilman O'Connell. Councilman O'Connell, are you present?
Yeah, I'm present.
Councilman Roten.
I'm here, Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chair Young.
Present, Chair.
Okay, with all committee members present and detecting a quorum, Vice Chair Young, I'm going to recognize you for a motion regarding the meeting.
I make a motion that this committee meeting agenda constitutes essential business of the Metropolitan Council, and that meeting electronically is necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any in opposition? Okay, thank you. All right, we do not have time for staff reports today. We didn't have time for that even before our technical difficulties, but I do just want to take this opportunity to thank staff of both the Public Works Department and the Water Department, for all the challenges that this time brings. Those folks are still out serving our city, and we want to make sure, and last time we addressed this regarding the safety of those employees, their ability to physically distance while doing their work, having masks if they're not able, and so forth. So I appreciate the updates last time, and then I would just encourage staff and leadership in the two departments to please don't hesitate to be in touch with me if you need any assistance in that regard. Moving from staff report into recognition of guests, I want to acknowledge that in addition to our typical participation of our committee members and staff, that we also have on the call as relevant stakeholders to legislation we are discussing from Waste Management Corp, Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Huckabee from Waste Management are on the call. I'm just wanting to make that clear. Okay. With that, I'm going to be moving into the agenda. Okay. All right, Resolution RS 2020-202 approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and Metro Public Works for signal maintenance for I-440 traffic operational deployment of Bluetooth Spectra Power over Ethernet, PoE, data collection devices. This has been approved. Pardon?
Move to approve.
Okay, I appreciate that. And do we have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you. Colleagues, I wanted to mention that this was disapproved previously in our committee and then re-referred. Previous meeting, it was deferred in Budget and Finance. There was quite a lengthy discussion in Budget and Finance yesterday, and this item was deferred in Budget and Finance 1 meeting. Prior to this meeting, I brought your attention to a set of letters that were sent by staff, by TDOT, by Vanderbilt, by Blue Toad. I would encourage you to refer to those in the interim, but given that we will be deferred by rule due to the deferral in Budget and Finance yesterday, I would encourage us for kind of order of the meeting and then just to get us aligned with the Budget and Finance calendar that we likewise defer this matter. That said, at present, there is a motion and a second to approve. So, colleagues, if there is anything that you want to express on the record at present or make sure staff is aware of, we can do that briefly, but we can also do that offline. I guess, so that said, I think just for expediency, I would entertain a motion to defer 1 meeting.
Motion to defer 1 meeting.
Second.
Second.
I appreciate that. All in favor of a 1 meeting deferral, please unmute your mics and say aye.
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 Are there any voting no for the 1 meeting deferral? Okay, not seeing anybody abstaining on a 1 meeting deferral for resolution 202. Okay, moving on then. Resolution RS 2020-283, Sledge, Cash, and Others, approves an intergovernmental agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metro Department of Public Works for the resurfacing and repairing of 2.42 miles of 31st Avenue South, Blakemore Avenue, and Wedgwood Avenue. We have a letter to approve from Councilman Sledge. This is in his district. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Colleagues, I put this on for discussion. This was discussed in Budget and Finance yesterday, and whether or not it had been, I was hoping we could have it on discussion, more for just point of information. This is a TDOT program with a 75-25 split on cost of paving, but untypically, as you all will note, this is not, to my knowledge, a TDOT administered route. You know, it's not one of our typical pikes that we know to be a state road. And as such, I just wanted to bring that to your attention and see if you all had any questions about this paving program and what that means for our public works and our paving program. So with that, we have a motion and a second, and anyone wanting to discuss or make a comment? Okay, I'll look for hands up icons. If you do wish to speak during this meeting, please remember to click your icon with the hand raised. Hey, am I correct? This is, I want to share with you all, the view on my screen is different from when I administered this meeting last time. And so at present, I am not seeing any hands raised. And so just in abundance of caution, since this is logistically a little bit different, if you are, I won't do this for every matter, but just as we're getting started here, if there's anybody wishing to speak, members of the committee, and you have your hand raised and I could not see it, you may unmute your mic to tell me that, just so we can assess if that's an issue.
It's Councilman Hall here. You can't see my hand, but I was just asking, could you explain a little bit of how TDOT would it be in their program, how Blakemore was chosen?
Let's see. So I am going to put that question to staff, and I think I will go ahead and express, in addition to Councilman Hall's question, I would just like to understand what makes a street eligible. Is there a certain capacity to this program? How do we choose the streets for it? Is there a kind of a bucket in the TDOT budget? And so how do we typically engage this program and determine which streets? I understood from Councilman Sledge yesterday that there is another street, so kind of from an alignment standpoint, 12th Avenue and some work we anticipate doing there. 12th Avenue and Wedgwood intersect each other. And so that's kind of in the queue for paving. And so there was a bit of a kind of context and timeliness issue on this one. But can someone on Public Works staff please raise their hand if they can respond to this question, please?
See no hands at this time.
I am looking for Mr. Hammond, are you on the call?
Council Lady Henderson,
Yes, Mr. Hurd.
at this time I do not see any hands raised.
Understood, but can you please determine, Mr. Hurd, if Mr. Hammond or anyone representing, I'm having difficulty. I see from Public Works staff, I see here Sharon Smith, Ms. Wallstrom, from Metro Legal. Is there anyone on Public Works staff that can speak to this agenda item?
I have Devin Doyle.
Mr. Doyle, I guess just unmute your mic and speak. I can't see you, and I'm unable. I hear you are. Okay.
Okay. So,
Mr. Doyle, you have the closing comments.
Council Lady, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mr. Doyle. You're acknowledged.
Can you hear me, Council Lady?
I can, yes, sir. Mr. Hurd, can you make sure that I'm unmuted and that folks can hear me?
You are, and we can hear him.
It appears that we can hear Mr. Doyle, but he can't hear that we can hear him.
Right.
Okay, colleagues, I guess what we're just going to do is kind of put a pin in this. I don't think that anybody has a reason not to approve this at this time. Again, this was up for discussion, just basically for information. So whomever is taking notes for the purposes of the Public Works Department, I am requesting, please, just a report on this program. How it works, how the city uses it, how we prioritize projects to be a part of that program. and whether that's to Mr. Doyle or Mr. Hammond or whomever at Public Works. Can someone from Public Works please unmute their mic and acknowledge that you have received my request for that report?
Councilmember from Metro Legal.
Thank you. You're recognized.
Thank you. I will make sure that this information is given to Public Works and we get you that report as soon as possible. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ladd. I appreciate that. Okay, colleagues. So we have a motion and a second on Resolution 283 regarding the intergovernmental agreement between TDOT and Metro Public Works for resurfacing and repairing of 2.42 miles of 31st Avenue South, Blakemore Avenue, and Wedgwood. All in favor, please?
Aye.
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 Any voting against? Any abstentions? Okay, moving on. RS 2020-288, Stiles, Johnson, and others. This is before us because there is a proposed substitute. This is honors the response of the Nashville Electric Service, Metro Water Service Department, and Metro Public Works Department after the March 3rd, 2020 tornado. Ms. Council Lady Stiles, are you present? Is anybody who is a sponsor of this bill present?
I believe I'm a co-sponsor.
I signed on to this bill.
Okay, Council Lady Allen, would you like to move the substitute?
I would move the substitute, but I'll have to have someone else to explain it.
Mr. Cooper or council staff, can you please explain the nature of the substitute?
The substitute just adds the codes department. Codes was inadvertently left out when it was originally filed, and so the substitute adds codes. So it will be Public Works, Codes, and Water. Natural, Electric, Water, Public Works, and Code. Sorry.
Okay, well, we certainly appreciate all those departments, and I just want to acknowledge, I know this is before us as Public Works, but many, many, many other departments in Metro government, in fact, perhaps close to all of them were engaged in work subsequent to the tornado, so we certainly appreciate all of them, and then, of course, we express special appreciation here for our Public Works Department and Metro Water Services, given that we are the Public Works Committee. Mr. Cooper, can you remind me just as far as procedurally, do we need to have, do we move the substitute or move the bill for approval first as far as order of operations, please?
Let's go ahead, since we've already discussed it, let's go ahead and get the motion on the substitute, take that vote, and then the resolution that is substituted.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Lady Allen, I guess you moved approval of the substitute. Do we have a second on that? I apologize, we were a little out of order.
Second.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, so we've described the substitute. We have a motion on the substitute. All in favor of the substitute?
Aye.
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 Councilor Lady Allen, at this time, would you like to make a motion to approve the bill as substituted?
Yes, I move the bill as substituted.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of this resolution as substituted?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against or abstaining?
This is Sharon Hurd. I have concerns that, as you mentioned, other departments were very much involved in the same kind of activity, and they were left out. That's the only reason why I have not voted for, because I don't want to miss someone, in recognizing the work that they've done.
I I appreciate that, Council Lady Hurt. I think I was not able to speak to Council Lady Stiles. I believe in its genesis, this was intended to express appreciation to NES, or that's the way I had understood it to start. Then obviously, Public Works, other places that engage our right of way, the water department, then codes was added. So, to your point, as chair of Public Works, I was not invited to sponsor this resolution. That is fine, but to your point, Councilor Hurt, I might have had some reservations of just wanting to make sure that we acknowledged all our department. It's kind of one or all, or this is kind of an approach where
exactly
for departments, and as such, I apologize. I know logistically this is difficult. We have a motion to approve. We have done the votes there. So I think Council Lady Hurt, I think if you had wanted to express a deferral motion, perhaps the committee would have entertained that. But Mr. Cooper, where are we now? Already kind of having voted on this.
We have actually voted on the resolution as substituted, so technically it has passed at this point.
Okay. Councilor Hurt, I guess what I would say to you is, having passed this committee, if you want to be a no vote or an abstention, we certainly understand that. That's not you expressing any lack of support for these great departments. But I would encourage you perhaps to take up your objection or concern at the larger meeting. And perhaps that might be a time to suggest a deferral of one meeting. But at present, as a committee, we've expressed our support through our vote. Your concern is duly noted. And I would just encourage you to, if you want to take that up again, you can do that in the context of the larger meeting. All right, is that okay with you, Councilor Hurt?
It's fine. My hand had been raised for quite some time and it had not gotten acknowledged, so I just unmuted to speak. So I think it's the format of what it is, and perhaps you did not see my hand raised.
And in fact, colleagues, I just want to share with you again the format of this, because of the way we are set up as hosts and otherwise. I have realized now I can see your name. I can see when you mute or unmute. I cannot see when you raise your hand or not. Mr. Hurd, I guess I'm a moderator, you are a host, so you can see the hands raised. Is that correct?
Yeah, I will notify you. Right
okay,
now.
I appreciate it. If you have a raised hand, if you will please just let me know. And colleagues, apologize. I think, I can see all your names and all these little squares. I've tried all these different views. I cannot see the raised hand icon this time for unknown reasons. Okay, moving along. Okay.
Ellen has her hand raised.
Councilor Lady Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge Councilmember Hurt's concern about other departments, and I think we continue to see departments doing amazing things to help the people who have suffered from the tornado. And the other thing, Metro Action Commission comes to mind. I think we just continue to write resolutions and take the effort to specifically call out what's been done, and eventually we'll get to everybody. I think that is a more specific way to honor the actual work that's being done than to hold it up and try to have one big omnibus one. So that might be another alternative solution to the fact that we know we can't get everybody in this one resolution. So thank you for letting me say that.
I appreciate that, Councilor Lady Allen. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. All right, we are moving on our agenda, and I apologize because of all these different screens. I need to be kind of moving down through the agenda here so that you all can see that. And so now we are at resolutions on consent. RS 2020. Okay, colleagues, and just for the viewing public, Please review the resolutions that are on consent. I'm going to read them in sequence per the agenda for the record, as we are required to do, and then we will take one vote at the end. If there is anything that you want to be removed from consent, please click your raise hand button. And Mr. Hurd, subsequent to reading the resolutions on consent in full, at the end of that, if you will please, Mr. Hurd, let me know if anyone has their hand raised. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. RS 2020-280, Taylor, Murphy, and Henderson amends ordinance BL 2019-1565 to authorize the Metro government to abandon existing water main and easement and to accept additional sanitary sewer manholes and easements for 4 properties located on Spruce Street and 21st Avenue North. RS 2020-284, O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson authorizes 1221 Investment Partners, LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 1221 Broadway. RS 2020-285, O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson authorizes River Bike of Tennessee, Inc., doing business as Honky Tonk Harley Davidson, to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 203 3rd Avenue South. Okay, that concludes our resolutions on consent. Mr. Hurd, does anyone need to be acknowledged?
At this time, I have no hands raised.
Okay. All in favor of 280, 284, and 285 on consent, please say aye.
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 Any against or any abstentions? Seeing and hearing none. Moving on now through the agenda to bills on second reading for discussion. Okay, folks, Mr. Hurd, what time does the health committee start, please?
The next committee meeting, Health, Hospitals, and Social Services, begins at 4:15 p.m.
4:15. Okay, colleagues, it is now 3:50. BL 2020-235 regarding special event permit fees. There's quite an extensive amount of information on that in your analysis. As well, we did have Ms. Cumrow of the Public Works Department Finance Division do some work on that. I want to express appreciation to her and Ms. Wallstrom for being here on this call. But at this time, I want to suggest that this matter, I think I had some questions on it about increasing in these fees, particular to our smaller neighborhood organizations, some that have kind of a less of a budget or aren't particularly well funded, perhaps. And so this was one that I wanted to have a bit of discussion on, but could probably request some more information. So with that, just so we can move along with the agenda, understanding from the department that this is not critical at this time, I would entertain a motion for deferral on this to one meeting.
Move for one meeting deferral.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, colleagues, thank you. If anybody, after reviewing their analysis, has any questions about that, let's please get those to the department.
Council Lady, I have Sharon Hurt with her hand raised.
Okay, yes, Ms. Hurt, you're recognized.
Thank you, Council Lady. I'd also suggest that there be some communications with Gordon Richard, who serves as the Assistant Director of Special Permits, because I spoke with him and he was not informed of this legislation, and he was unable to provide me with any assistance in terms of questions that I had regarding it, because I wanted to prepare for this. In the neighborhood community organizations, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that was one of the concerns that I had. But I also have a concern that he was not consulted in this legislation at all. And I don't think it specifically says whether it's for new events or existing events or exactly what it is, and he wasn't able to give me the definition of high impact areas either.
Okay.
So,
I
yes.
appreciate that, Council Lady Hurt. Again, I do want to acknowledge the work of Ms. Cumrow from the financial side of things. I do think there are quite a few questions on this. I appreciate that you have those. Let's make sure to get together with Mr. Cooper. Colleagues, if you have any other questions, let's please direct those to Mr. Cooper. We'll coordinate those questions. And then we'll get those to staff so that when we have this on the agenda next time, again, we voted for a one meeting deferral, we'll be able to coordinate all those questions and to have a good discussion on that at a later time. Thank you, Council Lady Hurt. Anyone else? I would suggest that we keep moving through our agenda if we can, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, continuing with bills on second reading for discussion, we have BL 2020-237, Mendez, Henderson, and Allen approves Amendment 2 to the contract between Waste Management, Inc. of Tennessee and the Metro Public Works Department for the processing and marketing of recyclable material collected by Metro and extending the contract term through 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And I hear a second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, with that, colleagues, I brought your attention to the analysis, and additionally, we had a 1-page / 2-page information from Waste Management, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, they likewise are on the call, as well as staff from Public Works who can speak to that. Mr. Hurd, if you would please let me know who's got their hand up for discussion on this and questions.
I have Councilman Young, Councilman Bradford, and Councilmember Benedict.
Okay, Councilman Young, you are recognized. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I think this might be something that causes quite a bit of discussion because I know I have several questions and points. So I think for now, I'd like to make a motion to defer one meeting after hearing that yesterday during Budget Committee that time is not necessarily of the essence yet, that we have till the end of this budget year. So I think maybe some more questions getting answered, and because we are crunched for time today, would be a good reason for a one meeting deferral, please. I make that motion.
Is there a second on that motion? Okay. So colleagues, at this point, we're discussing a deferral. While I do appreciate Councilman Young's concerns, this is a significant matter. There was quite a lot of discussion in Budget and Finance, and we Mr. Cooper, can you share what the vote in Budget and Finance was yesterday on this matter?
Let me look that up.
Okay. Apologize.
I do have some hands raised.
I appreciate that. Hang on just a second.
Sure.
We're on discussion of the motion to defer. And by way of that discussion, I just wanted to express or share what the vote was in Budget and Finance subsequent to the discussion. Also, with the deferral of this special event, and when looking ahead into our agenda, this is our primary item for discussion, and we do retain about 10 to 15 minutes before we need to conclude this meeting. So I guess I would ask the Vice Chair. I absolutely will entertain the motion of deferral, but I wonder with representatives from Waste Management on the call at present and staff, I don't know if the Vice Chair might be willing to withdraw his motion for a brief amount of discussion, and then again, I think you will have support for that deferral. But because we do have some subject matter experts on the call, and we do still have 20 minutes for this meeting, I I want to suggest that we maybe begin the discussion, please.
Chair,
I'm certainly open to that, Vice Chair. So I'm willing to withdraw the deferral motion for now.
Thank you. Okay, and so, Mr. Cooper, where are we in the order of business? I know the deferral motion superseded the previous motion to approve. How do we need to get this back before us to discuss?
since the deferral motion was withdrawn, the previous motion to approve is pending. And I'm speaking the Budget and Finance Committee with 10 in favor, 1 against.
Okay, 10 in favor, 1 against in Budget and Finance. I appreciate that. Councilman Bradford, you had your hand raised according to Mr. Hurd, so you're acknowledged.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. My concerns are primarily the timing. It seems like we've waited till the last minute when this contract's about to expire to renew it. Also, I was listening to the Budget and Finance meeting yesterday, and was there an RFP put out for this, or it feels like that we're just awarding it to Waste Management because that's who they had.
Okay, I appreciate that. Mr. Cooper, can you speak to that as far as the timing? Councilman Bradford, I would point you also to the analysis, but Mr. Cooper, if you could distill that somewhat, speaking to the previous contract, because I think as presented, often this is spoken of as a new contract. Some might refer to this as a existing 10-year contract that is being amended for the next 5 years with termination provisions. Can you just speak to some of Councilman Bradford's concerns as to process and timing?
Sure. So the original contract was approved in 2015, the contract that we're talking about here. That was competitively bid, that was done through an RFP process. The contract was awarded for 10 years. One of the issues we're dealing with today with this amendment is contracts that extend over 5 years are supposed to come to the council for approval. Due to an administrative error, this one did not get submitted to the council for approval. So the council is now being asked to extend it for another 5 years to match the term that the parties thought they were entering into back in 2015.
Okay, Councilman Bradford, do you have any other specific questions? Again, I will entertain a motion to defer later if those concerns bring you to a point where you want to have more time. But I just thought, given that we do have a few minutes at this juncture, we might want to continue the discussion. Any other questions from you, Councilman Bradford?
I'm looking through the analysis, and I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Hurd, is there anyone else requesting to speak?
Yes, ma'am. I have Councilmember Benedict, O'Connell, Allen, Hall, Nash, and Bradford's is still raised. I'm not sure if he intends on that.
All right, colleagues, as you know, this is not a queue like we have in the council chamber, in which case I would absolutely acknowledge folks in the order in which their hand was raised. But by deference, Council Lady Allen is the chair of our Public Works Subcommittee on Solid Waste and Recycling. And so with that, I will acknowledge Council Lady Allen, please. Council Lady Allen, you need to unmute your mic, please.
Is it unmuted now?
It is.
Okay, sorry, I think I had it backwards. So thank you. First question would be if we learn some things and decide we want to make small changes to this, either ordinance or to the amendment itself, what is the process for that?
Mr. Cooper, can you answer Council Lady Allen's question?
So the only way to amend the agreement would be for the parties to agree. So we would have to have Metro, Public Works, and Waste Management agreeing to the changes in order to actually amend the agreement.
Gotcha. That's different from amending the ordinance itself, which is a shorter version of that. Okay. That's helpful. Would it be possible to see the other proposals back from 2015 or 2012, whenever those were done? Are those public records somewhere?
They are public record. They would be with the finance department. I don't know how many proposals were submitted at the time, but Public Works could probably, they may be able to say that on this call.
Yeah, I believe there were two others. If it be possible, and since we think we might have some extra time, that might be instructive just for people to look at what the other options were, since that seems to be a question that's come up both today and in budget. That would make that request that information on how to get to those would be provided to us before those. And then my next question would be to ask you to once again explain, as you did yesterday to the budget committee, this is listed as having an estimated value of $2.25 million. But that, my understanding is based on an assumption that we would increase the number of recycling pickups. So can you explain what happens to that value if we don't? And then if someone from Public Works could talk about whether or not we think we're going to do that given the current budget situation.
Based on the discussion yesterday in Budget and Finance, it sounds like that $2.5 million estimate per year would drop by over $1 million if we did not do the twice a month recycling pickup.
I think specifically, as I may, this is Council Lady Henderson here. I believe there was the 2.25 estimated annual value, contract value assumed a move to every other week recycling. But the value, I believe, was estimated by Ms. Wallstrom at 1.5 to 1.7 million if we were not moving to every other, which I think we can probably safely assume, given our budget, that we are not doing that this time.
Okay. And then also just in terms of comparison with the numbers that we see in the contract for what it costs per ton to process the different types of recyclables and what values we can be paid for certain ones of them, can someone provide information on what it costs per ton just to dispose of garbage? Is that a number that someone has readily available that we could have before we come back and discuss this? That might be a Sharon Smith question.
Councilmember, this is Sharon Wallstrom. Okay. The cost for disposal is approximately $39 a ton.
And is that the tip fee, or does that include hauling it as well?
That is only the tip fee. That does not include hauling it.
Okay. And is there an additional hauling fee that we can take into account?
No, we haul to a transfer station that's on Alejandro, and we pay the tip fee. That's inclusive of their hauling to their landfill destination. So we don't pay any additional money besides just the tip fee.
Okay, so if we don't recycle something, we pay $39 a ton to make it go away, which is not ideal. In our zero waste master plan, we hope to get that down to nothing. Okay, that's all the questions I have at this point, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to perhaps get more information, and I appreciate the subject matter experts being here as well.
Thank you, Council Lady Allen. I think, colleagues, I think we have time for one more question. What I would mention to others in the queue, if you do not get acknowledged or your question posed here, I think similarly, we're going to have to do kind of a collective organization of our questions for staff and perhaps for waste management as well. And in between now and next meeting, I do want to acknowledge from a time standpoint that with the change of administration, the ongoing kind of contract negotiation, waste management has been operating, at a loss, kind of in good faith, continuing to operate with us. So I would ask if we do, after addressing some of these questions here, move to a deferral, that we would really diligently look at the information they have provided, that our Metro staff has provided by way of analysis, and really kind of tease out what are those questions that we want answered, so that we could make a deciding vote on this at next meeting. Is there anyone wanting to be acknowledged that feels that they have something that's really urgent at this time that needs to be expressed, but please be mindful that you could perhaps express this via email, and that we will kind of have more time for this next time. Anyone still wishing to be acknowledged? Mr. Hurd?
Yes, ma'am. I have Councilman O'Connell.
Okay, Councilman O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess this is one point of information, the other maybe briefly on the issue. I am a little concerned that if we are doing this for the foreseeable future, that we're going to just continue queuing things up. And so I don't know, we always have to deal with time constraints even when we're meeting in person. And I don't know how we're going to deal with a variety of issues for the next several weeks, potentially the next several meetings, depending on how long Executive Order 16 remains in effect. So if we defer this issue because we literally are being told we don't have time to discuss it today, will we have time at our next meeting? And how will we ensure that we have time? Because I think some of the questions that get submitted and or back and forth, I've already seen in Budget and Finance, for instance, reviewing yesterday's agenda and the discussion, that many of the questions that had come up were available. The answers to those were available and materials available to members. So I do sensitive to efficient time. I also want to make sure that we're not shooting ourselves in the foot by creating a perpetual backlog.
I absolutely acknowledge Councilman O'Connell that concern, and I do share it. Again, whether it was Blue Toad traffic management or some of these larger issues that we have discussed quite frequently, and we have not been advancing. I would just say to Mr. Hurd and to Mr. Cooper, we need more than an hour for the Public Works Committee meeting, given what's before us and the complexity of it. And then today, with my apologies, we really just did have a logistical technical problem at the start of the meeting. And so that is unfortunate. But for something like this recycling ordinance, I absolutely appreciate how long this has been in discussion. And to your point, we do have quite a lot, colleagues, of detailed information before us. And so, whether that's Blue Toad or this waste management, we need to do our homework and read all that stuff for sure. But as we're coming up on 4:10 and we need to keep moving through this agenda with Councilman Young, I think I'm going to acknowledge you again, and I would entertain a motion for deferral. Completely appreciating and acknowledging what Mr. O'Connell said, but I think we've just, we're in a pickle. And I would also say to Mr. Cooper and Mr. Hurd, the fact that this is sort of a omnibus WebEx where everybody's in here, so we have to stop at a certain time so that the next committee meeting can start and that those go in sequence. That is also problematic. Last time we went over in Public Works. We always have a long committee meeting, but happily with staff support, the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting at that time, it was able to start separately, and we were able to continue and complete our meeting. We are not in that posture today, Councilman O'Connell, unfortunately, and that's not necessarily through my doing, but we're learning as we go. So with that, Councilman Young, you're acknowledged.
Thank you, Chair. And I appreciate Councilman O'Connell's remarks, though I think Blue Toad could have been wrapped up much sooner, if not for several deferrals. But in light of that, I will go ahead and make a motion to defer this item 1 minute, please.
Second.
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of a 1 meeting deferral on BL 237 regarding waste management, please say aye.
Madam Chair, we're not discussing the deferral.
I apologize. I apologize. the discussion on deferral, I think, was somewhat imbued in the previous discussion, but yes, we have a motion second for deferral. If anyone wants to be acknowledged on the deferral, please make sure if you want to speak on the deferral that you've got a hand raised. Councilman O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the deferral and specifically in reference to Blue Toad, part of the issue with Blue Toad is I literally did not get a question answered until the period between the most recent meeting and this one. With regard to this, I don't have any further questions, and I don't intend to support the deferral. This has been a contract negotiation that has lasted months. There's tons of material. I am interested in what remaining questions members have, but the fundamentals here are the market has moved underneath the recycling market, necessitating a contract change if we are to continue operating a curbside recycling program in some areas of the city. So I would encourage us to move ahead, and I do not support the deferral.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is there anybody else wishing to speak on the deferral motion? Mr. Hurd? Do we see any?
And I have Council Member Gamble.
Councilor Gamble, are you speaking on the deferral motion?
Yes, Chair. I would like to speak on the deferral. I too agree with Councilmember O'Connell that we have had quite a bit of discussion and questions answered about the waste management contract over the past several months, and I too am against a meeting deferral and would encourage us to go on and vote on this issue today.
Okay, I appreciate that. We now have 2 minutes to finish the entire rest of our agenda. So with that, is there anyone else wishing to speak on the deferral motion? Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, it's Councilmember Benedict.
Councilor Benedict is recognized.
Thank you, Chair. So I definitely don't think that we should defer this. I've had the group has had ample time, I believe, to review the analysis. I spoke with Ms. Smith this week about this, I believe just yesterday or the day before, and I think this is something that we should move forward with for the reasons that Councilmember O'Connell outlined. So I won't repeat those, but this is a changing market, and I feel like what we've done, based on what I've reviewed, this is a reasonable solution to the contract where we are, and I would suggest to my colleagues and urge them to not defer this and also to move to approve it. Thank you, Chair.
I appreciate that, Councilor Benedict. Okay, anyone else wishing to be recognized on the deferral, one meeting deferral motion? Okay, all those in favor of the deferral, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I think what we're going to have to do here is, oh goodness, a roll call on the deferral. Okay, and so with that, Council Lady Allen, are you in favor of deferral?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Council Lady Benedict, no. Correct?
Sorry, yep, that's correct. I'm not, no, I'm a no.
Councilman Bradford?
No.
Council Lady Evans?
No.
Council Lady Gamble?
No.
Councilman Hall on the motion to defer?
No.
Council Lady Hurt on the motion to defer?
No.
Councilman Nash on the motion to defer?
No.
Councilman O'Connell?
No.
Councilman Roten?
No.
Okay, and Councilman Young?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion to defer fails. Councilman, or rather, Mr. Cooper, where are we at this juncture?
We are back on the motion to approve.
Okay. All right, colleagues. Is there any other discussion on the bill? Anyone wishing to be recognized?
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair, I have hand up. This is Zach, or Councilman Young. We're at a point where we have an unmanageable cost now in recycling, and something that hasn't come up that I'm kind of disappointed is not only are we agreeing to this large increase to a contract, but then we're also kind of blindly agreeing to this one-time penalty payment that, you know, part of this is our contamination rate, and no one has brought up that our contamination rate hovers at 30%. The contract allows for 15%. So by continuing this contract, unless we take drastic action to reduce that contamination rate, we're still going to see increased costs from this contract. I know there's been significant education efforts to try and reduce that rate, but this is actually contamination, is where this all goes back to, and what triggered this was Waste Management claiming that a change in Chinese law about contamination was enough and was considered applicable law that regarding the clause in the contract, that a change in applicable law would constitute this amendment to it. I think that when we look at the situation that Metro is in right now, the fact that we are looking at some sort of tax increase no matter what we do, by even suggesting that we increase service to twice a month is absolutely absurd. And I know it sounds like we're going to stick with the once a month, but even with that increase, I can't reconcile the fact that the administration has now gone to the Civil Service Commission and said we can't find $6 million for step increases, but we can all of a sudden pull $1,057,000 out of nowhere from the Public Works budget to pay a penalty to a company that at this point is holding us hostage. And I certainly can't reconcile that with the fact that we're going to increase our annual cost between $1.5 and $1.7 million a year. I can't reconcile the fact that by taking this action, this council is acknowledging that we feel stronger about recycling than we do about our employees. And I think that is sending an awful message. You know, earlier we talked about a resolution to honor a certain department and their employees. Well, the best way we can honor the employees and let them know that we appreciate them is to put more money in their paycheck. And by not continuing on frivolous expenses like this, I just can't stand by this. And, you know, it's $39 per ton to dispose of solid waste. And it's costing us much more than that to get rid of the recycling. When is that economy going to return to where recycling pays off again? I don't know. And I think right now, this drastic economy we're in calls for drastic measures that probably doing away with recycling is what is economically or fiscally sound for the city. And I can't believe that this is just being passed on through so easily. It's reckless. But I'll you know, that's all I've got for now. But I appreciate it.
Councilman Young, I appreciate your concerns, and I do. You know, I think what we are challenged with here is, you know, the information that's before us, the contract negotiations that have been entered into. But I think, as we all are aware, you know, the reason that we had a special subcommittee on this matter is that, you know, waste and zero waste and recycling, this is a very large space, market dynamics, the finances, and so forth. And you know, as such, we did have a special meeting about this back in the winter when this was kind of first before us. Then the contract was renegotiated. I know Council Lady Allen would have liked to have held another special committee meeting. where we could have discussed this at more length. And so I think it's interesting to note that Council Lady Allen, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but with her knowledge in this space and her engagement as our subcommittee chair, did also support this deferral. And so, I think Councilman Young, your points can be taken up again in the larger meeting. Our deferral motion, the motion, not our committee's, the motion to defer did fail. And so we are about 7 minutes over on our agenda and bleeding into our health committee. I would like, though, to recognize Council Lady Allen, just in deference as the chair of our subcommittee, to bring our discussion on this to a close, please. Council Lady Allen.
Thank you. I'll wrap it up very quickly. Just to say, I think the market can change just as much in the other direction, and that will make the economics look much better when the prices for some of these materials goes back up again. I certainly appreciate the concerns that Councilmember Young has raised, and certainly we do have to show those priorities as well. But I would say, since we've asked for more information, and this is second reading, that we can still ask that information be provided before third reading. And I would like to be able to make the case to Councilmember Young that the numbers may look bad on the current market, but I believe that for many of these materials, the market will come back, and for the others, I think we can be smarter with how we deal with them and make sure that this is also a good economic deal for the city. So I support the getting more information, even without the deferral, and then I would ask for people to support this. And we will continue to work on ways to make our waste disposal economical for the city. And now that we've figured out how to get committees together, I'll get the recycling subcommittee to meet and look at some of our other options.
Thank you, Council Lady Allen. Okay, with that, colleagues, we have a motion to approve before us. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now those of you who intend to be a nay or an abstention, so those desiring to vote no, would you please click your raise hand button? And then Mr. Hurd, if you can share with me who has their button clicked. This will not be, colleagues, for acknowledgement to speak on the bill, but merely to confirm your nay or abstention vote, okay? So the assumption by voice of the group is that the majority are voting aye, and so you will be recorded as such unless you have your hand button raised, and we'll confirm the nay and abstention votes. So Mr. Hurd, who has a hand raised as a nay or abstention?
I have Councilman Young, Councilman Bradford, and Councilman Hall.
Councilman Young, are you a nay or an abstention?
I'm a nay.
Okay, Councilman Bradford, nay or abstention?
Nay.
Okay, Councilman Hall, nay or abstention?
Nay.
Okay, so that's 3 nays. Mr. Cooper, for the record, I'd like to be recorded as abstaining on this, and everyone else will be recorded as aye. Understood?
It'd be 8-3, 4 against, 1 not voted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, colleagues, moving on. Let's see. We have one matter that was still up for discussion. We're not really going to discuss it. It's just point of information. 2022-32. O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson abandons a portion of alley number 146 right-of-way from Lafayette Street to Elm Street. Councilman O'Connell, I put this on discussion because I noticed it was disapproved by the Traffic and Parking Commission, which is not typical. So I just wanted to put it to you for a motion and any comments, since this is in your district. Councilman O'Connell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Unfortunately, that action must have been taken at the meeting at which I was out sick. So I would actually move to defer this one meeting.
Okay.
So that I can actually follow up with the chair of the commission and staff and learn more about why it was disapproved.
Okay, I appreciate that. Do I have a second for Councilman O'Connell's deferral motion, one meeting?
Second.
All in favor of a one meeting deferral?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. So moving on in our agenda, we are on page 5, bills on second reading for deferral or withdrawal. I think, Mr. Cooper, we just have to read into the record. Do we need to read into the record those that are going to be withdrawn?
No, if you can just give the number of what's being withdrawn.
BL 2020-226 regarding a special event zone for the CMA festival, which sadly is not happening. Councilman O'Connell, you had a letter to withdraw. Is that correct, to confirm?
I intend to just withdraw the bill, yeah.
Okay, all right. Duly noted. Moving on. BL 2020-227, Withers, Mendez, and others authorizes the granting of permanent and temporary construction easements to Piedmont Natural Gas Company on certain property owned by the Metro government, which I will add is in Shelby Park. We have a letter for the sponsor for a 2-meeting deferral. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
In a second. I apologize. Was anything to be acknowledged on this? I think just by way of explanation, I think there were some questions in budget and finance. They were questions that I shared as we are moving through a public park with a gas line. I think there were some concerns about landscaping, mitigation, perhaps if there were tree loss. I think Council Lady Allen posed those questions in budget and finance, so I appreciate those. This deferral will give time to have those questions answered. And so I apologize. Did I ask? I said we had the motion and the second. All in favor of the 2-meeting deferral of 227?
Aye.
Okay. BL 2020-236 Sledge amends Chapter 1564 of the Metro Code of Laws regarding work time restrictions for grading permits. We have a letter from the sponsor requesting a 1-meeting deferral. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are moving now into quite a few bills on second reading on consent. Mr. Cooper, even though we're tight on time, I assume I still have to read all these into the record, correct? And then we'll take one vote at the end?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Colleagues, bear with us. Council Lady Hurt, I really appreciate your patience. I know we've gotten into your committee time, but with that, we will read these into the record. BL 2020-228 Murphy, Henderson, and others abandons portions of Collins Park Drive right-of-way. BL 2020-229 Sledge, Murphy, and others abandons a portion of Merritt Avenue right-of-way between Hagan Street and the railroad right-of-way. BL 2020-230 Parker, Murphy, and others abandons a portion of alley number 312 right-of-way from North 9th Street to alley number 278. BL 2020-231 Murphy, Henderson, O'Connell abandons a portion of alley number 2005 right-of-way from the dead end south of Fern Avenue to the dead end north of Fern Avenue. BL 2020-239 Sledge, Mendez, and others authorizes the granting of permanent and temporary construction easements to Brand Berry Hill Apartments LLC on a parcel of property owned by the Metro government. BL 2020-240 O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson abandons existing easement rights located at 804 4th Avenue South, formerly a portion of alley number 147. BL 2020-241 Authorizes the Metro government to negotiate and accept permanent and temporary easements for the Ackerman Court Stormwater Improvement Project for 37 properties located along Ackerman Court, Dodge Court, Grandview Drive, Granny White Pike, Gray Bar Lane, and Leland Lane. A letter from Councilman Pulley to approve. Previous bills, colleagues have also had that letter to approve. You can see that on your agenda before us if I did not mention that. BL 242 Mendez, Henderson, and Allen authorizes the Metro Water and Sewerage Services to enter into an agreement with Cumberland River Compact to continue to fund initiatives established as the result of the consent decree with the Department of Justice of the United States and the state of Tennessee. There's a letter from Councilman Mendez to approve. BL 2022-43. Johnston Murphy Henderson accepts new sanitary sewer mains and sanitary sewer manholes for property located at Wallace Road unnumbered. BL 2022-44 O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson accepts water main, a fire hydrant assembly, a sanitary sewer manhole, and easements for property located at 1501 Herman Street. BL 2022-45 Rutherford Murphy Henderson accepts new water mains and easements for properties located at 6820 Nolensville Pike and 711 South Point Parkway. BL 2022-46 Lee, Murphy, and Henderson abandons existing public sanitary sewer force mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements, and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains and force mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 4309 Maxwell Road. Okay, big consent agenda. BL 2022-47 Murphy and Henderson abandons existing public sanitary sewer main and easements and to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 4317 Harding Pike. BL 2022-48 O'Connell, Murphy, and Henderson abandons existing brick sanitary sewer main and easements and to accept new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located at 1206 and 1212 1212 9th Avenue North. BL 2022-49 Johnson, Murphy, and Henderson accepts new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 4 properties located on Nolensville Pike. BL 2022-50 Rutherford, Murphy, and Henderson accepts new water and sanitary sewer mains, a fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located at 6424 and 6434 Pettis Road. BL 2022-51 Lee, Murphy, Henderson accepts new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at Hamilton Church Road unnumbered, also known as Timber Trails Phase 2. BL 2022-52 Sledge, Murphy, Henderson with a letter to approve from Councilman Sledge accepts new water and sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for properties located at 525, 524, and 526 Southgate Avenue, also known as Southgate Station Phase 2. And that concludes our consent agenda for bills on second reading. Are there any matters that were read into the record that colleagues, whether on the Public Works Committee or district council members present in this meeting, will want to be removed from the consent agenda? Mr. Hurd, because I cannot see the hand raised icons, would you please let me know if anyone has their hands raised regarding items being removed from consent?
I have no hands raised at this time, ma'am.
Thank you, colleagues. All in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Any nays or abstentions? Unmute if you have them. Nope. Okay, with that, we have concluded the meeting of the Public Works Committee. Mr. Slade, Hurd, if you will please help me transfer the hosting of the meeting to Council Lady Hurt of our Health and Hospitals Committee, please.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.org.